deviation is. It's how close are all your data points to the average. And there is about 4 steps to doing it. All right, but 2 of them you know, and then Miss Moon and I came up with an acronym for it. You know, yeah, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Yeah. All right, we're now going to use an acronym, and let me find a place for it. Here we go. It is always drink soda at dinner. So these first letters are the keys to knowing the steps to doing mean absolute deviation. In 8th grade, if they ask you for the average distance of this, or if they use the word average, if they use the word mean, believe me, they are talking about the mean absolute deviation, not just the average. You never have to just find the mean or the average in 8th grade, okay? You always have to find we call it MAD, mean absolute deviation. We shorten that and call it MAD, all right? Here we go. 3 steps to finding mean absolute deviation. Well, there's more. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 you know, though. The first step, find the mean of all the values. How do you find the mean of these? Okay, so we add, then divide by, oh, that's a number sign. Add, then divide by how many numbers you have, correct? Isn't that how you find the average? Okay, do you see always is add? Drink, D is drink, divide. So first we need to add our data, then we need to divide. Let's say it, always drink.
Always drink.
Okay, so what we're going to do is take our data, you're going to take your calculators, everybody needs to participate. If you don't have your calculator with you, go get it. Okay, that's your tool. That is part of what happens in math. We are going to go here. Make sure your calculator was cleared, because otherwise it might be on scientific if Friday didn't do their job. And we're just going to hit 7 plus 15 plus 22 plus 30 plus 65. I would always check. The reason this calculator has a window on it is so you can make sure that your numbers are the numbers you're supposed to have. Okay? All you do is hit enter. All right, so that equals 139. Now all we're going to do, the next step is to what? Divide. How many numbers did we add together? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 139, divide, and you don't have to even put 139 in again. You can just hit the divide by sign, and it's taking the last answer, divide it by 5, and I get the average or the mean, which is 27.8. Did you get 27.8?
Yeah.
If you didn't, you probably didn't put the numbers in correctly. Did you get 139 when you hit enter? You can't hit divide by. You can't do it one step. Remember, if you do this, 7 plus 15 plus 22 plus 30 plus 65 divided by 5, what's going to happen? PEMDAS says we have to divide before we add. And this calculator will automatically use PEMDAS. Okay? You'd have to put parentheses around all your addition and then divide by 5 in order to do that, because then parentheses comes before dividing. Okay? So do your 2 steps, add, divide. So now, this is what you're not used to. Find the distance, each value from that is from that mean. So what we're going to do, subtract each value and ignore the minus signs in the answer. So my mean was 27.8, okay? And I'm going to write it once because I'm lazy, all right? But I am going to write minus 7, minus 15, minus 22, minus 30, minus 65, okay? So I know I need to take 27.8 and subtract 7. So I'm going to go to my calculator and do 27.8 subtract 7, and I get 20.8. You will write it down. If you think you're going to do all the work in the calculator, you're not going to be able, it's going to get confusing. I will insist you write it down. Okay? 27.8 subtract 15. So what you're doing is you're finding if this is your mean, this is the average, this is the distance that number 7 is from the average, okay? So that tells you how close your data is together. Minus 22, and you get 5.8. Be careful, keep your decimals lined up. Then I have 27.8 subtract 30. Everybody should be pushing this in and doing it with me. Math is not a spectator sport, okay? When you don't do the steps as I'm teaching it, you won't remember the steps when you go to do it yourself. All right, what did I say about, because I got a negative 2.2, what did I say to do? Ignore the minus, and we could also put negative signs, okay? So you ignore it. If it gives you a negative or a minus, you ignore the sign and just write 2.2, okay? 65 subtract, I'm sorry, did it wrong, 27.8 subtract 65. I get a 37.2. Okay. Now, next step. That was our soda step. Next step, then find the mean of all those distances. How do we find the mean? Add, then divide. Okay? And what do we have? Add, divide, subtract, add, divide. Because this is the one thing students forget. I'll tell you, every time you get an answer, that answer will be an answer choice on the test. It always happens. And people will stop before they finish. If you haven't divided twice, you have not done all the steps. So now I'm going to add all these together. 20.8 plus 12.8 plus 5.8 plus 2.2 plus 37.2. Hit enter. 78.8. Did anybody get anything different? And how many numbers did we add up? It should be the same numbers it should be divided by the same number you had in the beginning. Okay? So that number divided by 5, your mean absolute deviation, 15.76. In that example, it says, so mean equals average, and the mean absolute deviation equals average distance. It tells us how far on average all the values are from the middle. In that example, the values are on average 15.76 away from the middle. It's not that difficult to do, but you've got to memorize the steps. There's nobody going to be there telling you what the steps are. So what's our saying? Always? At dinner. Always drink soda at dinner. I may have a little quiz tomorrow with a blank piece of paper and say, what's your saying for mad? Always drink soda at dinner. Okay? All right. There's your notes. Now you're going to have practice.